Alright YouTube, so before you start cutting, what you want to do is pick the hair out or lay the hair down, whatever it is that you have to do to get the hair positioned in that laid down area, or if he has an afro like this, pick it out. Alright, how you start is how you finish, so make sure you start off neat. Alright you guys, so starting off with the first guideline, I'm going to use my Babyliss Skeleton FX and I'm going to set in my bald line and I'm going to go up midway and drop it in the back a little bit. Now when it comes to students, beginners, listen, you don't have to use the liners. Alright, I like using the liners because it really gets the bald area nice and neat, but if you're a beginner, you can use the lever close on whatever clipper you have and just go up and make that same bald line. Now, will it get it as crisp? Not necessarily, especially if you're starting out, but it could get the job done. So I'm just gonna set this bald line in the back. Same things that I do on the other side, I'm gonna do the exact same thing on the other side. I'm gonna double check, make sure I went up high enough, and then I'm gonna take out the rest of the bulk on the bottom half. So depending on how hot it is in the shop, sometimes the hair likes to stick on the skin. So what I'm going to do is just brush the hair down, or like if the hair is greasy, it likes to stick as well. So make sure you either wash the hair before you cut it or just dust the hair off with either your brush or your neck duster. Now using my wall cordless seniors with the lever open, I'm going up about 1 inch and I'm going to keep that consistent all the way around, going over the guideline multiple times to get it at that lever open length. Now, a lot of you guys, when you cut hair, you don't commit to the guidelines. I challenge everybody to commit to the guidelines. Set your bald line lower. That way you can have enough space to set your blends. Go over the guideline multiple times. As you see right here, I'm going in a 1 2 3 4 5 motion, 1 2 3 over and over that guideline, so it's at that length. And even when I go around, I'll still come back, going over that guideline just so I can make sure it's at that length. now putting on the one guard with the lever open, I'm doing the same thing, but this time I'm kind of scooping out. I don't want to dig into the afro. I just want to kind of, scoop out and go upward with it. But I'm still setting a guideline, going over it multiple times so it's at that one open length. So when you're working on the occipital bone in the back of the head, you don't want to dig in going upward, inward. You want to go outward, and you want to look from the side to make sure you're getting that shape that you want, because if you go straight up with it, it's kind of gonna look awkward, or you're not gonna be able to keep that shape that you want. So make sure you pay attention to what you're doing and build shape as you go along. So right now I'm gonna freehand the top. I got my lever fully closed and I'm pressing the blade up against my client's head and just coasting the clipper upwards, building that shape. So after you're done building the shape, you still want to comb and brush down that area near the parietal ridge. So the reason why you're doing this is you're going to take away that line slowly but surely. So don't worry about, making that line. I'll tell you how to get it out. You just have to make sure that the blend is neat. So you got to lay those hairs down. So also comb right at the part and bring those hairs down. That way you get those long hairs to lay over, and you're just gonna take it down with a one guard. So like I said, putting on the one guard with the lever open, I'm going with the grain, knocking off all those hairs that's sticking out. What you're doing is smoothing out the side, making sure that you know, the top blends in with the bottom half. So now, keeping that one guard with the lever open, I'm gonna go upward now, just making sure everything is at that lever open length. Now closing the lever on that one guard in a flick out motion, flick out that middle line. Now this is not going to take out the middle line. This is just going to soften it up so you could come behind it with the next step. So I'm just going over it multiple times, making sure I lay the hair back down as I go. Not really rushing this process, making sure that, you know, I really go halfway. You know how you set the one guard open about a ½ inch? You really want to go halfway of that with this one guard closed. So now, putting on the zero guard closed, flick out that middle line. Remember to start below the line, flick to the line. Remember to brush the hair down as you go. All right, that's so important, as well as using your corners to kind of, you know, take off a little bit at a time. You don't want to rush this process. This probably is like, this and the lever close is the longest process of blending out, because you know you got to be real patient, got to be real tedious, and you know you got to go over it multiple times. So take your time, use your corners. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna set the lever halfway, and I'm just gonna flick at this bottom line, basically just softening it up. I'm gonna go half of what I did when I set in the lever open, and I'm just gonna soften this line up. That way it's easier to come behind it with the next step. Now with the lever fully closed in a flick out motion, flick out that bottom line. Remember to start below the line, flick to the line. You could use the full blade on this one, but I still recommend that you use your corners throughout this process, especially if you're just starting out, you're new, you don't have that much experience. Just start off inching it by using your corners. Now next, what you want to do is detail your work. All right, that's the most important part of the blend, is using your corners to get out those bulk areas. What I like to do is I like to rest my eyes. I like to, take a break for a minute, not too long, like about 30 seconds, look at something else real quick, come back and basically have a new fresh set of eyes and do some corner work. Also, you can use your mirror, use the camera, whatever you got to do. You can whip off your phone and it'll show you different things in the blend that you need to work out. Also, memorize your steps. That's most important. That way, you could just look at a blend and know and grab a guard where you set your guidelines and whatnot. So make sure you memorize those steps and just corner work in detail. refining the sides. I'm gonna shape the front. I'm basically gonna turn the clipper sideways and just run it right alongside of the lineup. So when it comes to lining somebody up, when I'm filming, I start in the middle to give myself a shorter distance. I don't want to go from corner all the way to the other corner. That's bound to have you're bound to basically have a crooked line. So make sure that you start in the middle, go to the side, vertical bar, or you can either start with the vertical bars. Line up both vertical bars and just basically start in the middle and go to the vertical bars. But never, I repeat, never go from one side to the other. You're just bound to give somebody a crooked lineup. Also, look back. You know what I mean? Line somebody up, take a step back. Look at what you're doing. Don't just, work on one side and then never come back to the middle. Always come back to the middle, see them dead straight, and go in and attack, basically. So I'm using this Magic Barber pencil basically to add some contrast between the lineup and the skin. Basically, it makes your lineup pop, and this is another form of enhancements. You got your hair fibers, you got your Kiss Express spray, and then this pencil adds as another enhancement tool. So I like to use all of the tools that there is. That way, especially in this video, you could get a crispy lineup and make the video really pop. So I line it up, I reline it up. This is just kind of like, I don't know if you guys seen women do their like mascara, but it kind of fades it in. I like to line it up, fade it in a little bit, and then take a razor and really bring that white ash mark to the line. So right now I'm gonna cut the top using my my afro shears. These shears, I got it off of Amazon. These are like, I want to say dog grooming shears. I want to say, if you type it in, it should pop up. It's basically a shear that curves. So yeah, it makes it a lot easier to basically shape the afro into that curved, like, you know, angle that you want. Listen, let me tell you why they call me 360. When they sit in my chair, I spin them in the full 360, and they come out looking like,
damn, son, we make it look easy.
YouTube, this is the cut. And if you like it, make sure you give it a thumbs up. If you're new to my channel, please hit that subscribe button. For everybody that's about to say, oh, you should have curled it on top, I gave you a look of before and the after. This is how it looks with the curls on top. If you like the beat, Hustle Dreams Production, that's my brother. He does all my beats. His YouTube channel will be linked in the description below. Also, if you want to know where you can find any tools that you've seen in this video, links will be in the description below.